Hey everybody, welcome to the Let It Diary, and there's an awful lot of new stuff to cover this week, so we're going to jump straight into the patch notes for version 1.23. Let's take a quick look at bug fixes before we move on to the big stuff. Fighter voices have been fixed, so if you've changed the language on those, you should now be hearing the correct language. Dual wielding weapons where one have poison and one doesn't, you should now have the correct damage type on each weapon. Collision issues with thrown items should have been fixed. Issues with countering the Spiked Crusher, Electric Massager and the M2G-87 should have been fixed, so they should be a bit easier to counter now. The skill decal Loxerin was incorrectly negating the groggy effect on False Brain Shroom, so this has been fixed and that shouldn't happen anymore. Lastly, the blast radius on Punch Shroom has been fixed. Sometimes it would go through walls, doesn't do that anymore. And interestingly, they've buffed its damage, which is kind of cool. A couple other small things. You can now get rank 6 collectors, and the Tokyo Death Metro rank reset took place this morning, so we're all back at rank 0, and lots of people have already started climbing the ladder again, which is kind of cool. But that whole system's changed completely, which we'll get to in a minute. Next up, if you go to the Hernia vending machine now, you'll find 3 additional blueprints for sale for death metals. These are the blueprints for the DIY coat, Sengoku armor and the Paladin armor, which have the new effects on them. Those look really cool. I bought the DIY coat and the Sengoku armor because that's what I happen to have enough spare death metals for. And I upgraded them just to prove that it could be done, because I wasn't 100% sure how that would work, but you have to upgrade them from scratch like normal, and they just count as a new piece of armor, but they have exactly the same stats. It's just the visual effect. Personally, I think these look really cool. I'm pretty happy with them. There's also a few new items on the PlayStation Network store to coincide with the TDM Battle Rush event. Most of these are fairly standard by now, they're just death metal packs for various prices, but the interesting one is the Tokyo Death Metro pack, which comes with 10 guard shrooms, 10 death metals, and a Direct Hell Express pass, all for the same price as a Direct Hell Express pass. So if you're going to buy one of those anyway, you may as well get this bundle, which is pretty cool. I'm really happy that that exists. Additionally, there's a bunch of new seasonal quests and event quests, which is cool. These include Tokyo Death Metro quests such as between 1 and 10 successful raid attempts and successful defenses. These are going to refresh every week for the next 5 weeks, so if you want some death metals, be sure to do a lot of raiding over the next couple of weeks, but you're going to want to do that anyway, and we'll get on to why in a moment. On top of that, if you want some free red metals, each of the 4 main bosses in the game will give you a red metal this week if you take the quest, which is really cool, and there's some additional stuff such as you can get some golden birds by picking up some mushrooms in the tower, stuff like that. We also have access to a new stat called Weapon Power. If you check your fighter freezer in the top right hand corner next to the class type, you will see a number. This corresponds roughly to what kind of equipment and decals your fighter has. It's supposed to be a value for roughly how tough your fighter is, but it mainly seems to correspond to the value of the equipment you're wearing, so it doesn't really seem to be that useful at the moment. Now let's finally talk about the Tokyo Death Metro Battle Rush. This is a huge change, and it brings with it a lot of kind of small bits and pieces, some UI changes, some rule changes, in addition to the 1.21 update we had last week. So the first thing, event quests. I've already briefly mentioned these. There's a couple of quests that revolve around defending and attacking, which will refresh every week for the next 5 weeks and probably into the future. There's another new skill decal called Super Volcano, which gives your defenders some rage gauge at the start of a raid, which is kind of cool. Lost bags have been given a bit of a signal boost. You can now see the kinds of rewards that are on offer in the main UI for the Tokyo Death Metro, which has also been kind of overhauled. There's a lot more information there. You can see what you're gonna either gain or lose in terms of battle points if you fail or succeed a raid. You also get lost bags for defending, and things are just a bit clearer in general and a bit nicer to use. I've also had a little bit of time to see some of the alarms in action, and they're really cool. I can see some new stuff happening in terms of defensive combinations that make use of tubers to distract and delay in order to get maybe 2 or 3 fighters out at the same time. The only one that seems really useless at the moment is Cohen. He seems to be easily baitable into just damaging the defending fighters, and then he doesn't absorb enough damage to be much of a time sink either, but I think they're going to make a lot more adjustments over the coming months to this, so that's kind of cool. The only issue I think people are going to run into with the Death Metro right now is that there are a lot of high-ranked players who are suddenly in the pool with the rest of us scrubs because of the rank reset. So I'm playing in bronze and silver at the moment, and I'm seeing a lot of characters like this guy who I cannot touch and who can kill me in a couple of hits. I've seen a lot of high-end weaponry like red napalms, cannon, stuff like that, but that is going to balance out at most in a couple of weeks. That's just how resets like this go, because everyone gets put back into the same pool again. Once they've climbed up to the top ranks and things have evened out, things will be back to normal. They've also made some changes to the abduction system. Previously it would take 48 hours for a fighter to reset, and when they did, they would lose all of their items. Now that period of time has gone down to just 4 hours. They no longer lose their items when they're ransomed or reset, and if you successfully abduct a fighter for the full 4 hours, you'll receive a lost bag as a reward. So again, there seems to be more reason to actually use these systems. Okay, and finally we have the biggest change, which is probably the reason they did the rank reset in the first place. They've split each of the 5 ranks, bronze, silver, gold, platinum and diamond, up into 3 sub-tiers. So now you have silver, rank 3, 2 and 1. And the idea is that you'll have to climb through each one before breaking through into the next rank. But ranks will now reset every week, and at the end of every week you'll be given a prize based on your current rank. But when they do reset, you'll only go back down to the bottom of the current tier that you're in. So let's say you're in Platinum and you're rank 1 and you didn't quite make it to Diamond that week, you'll only be reset back down to the bottom of Platinum. So you'll go down to Platinum rank 3, not back all the way back down to Bronze. But you can still go back down ranks by losing points either through failing raids or getting raided. So you can still go up and down ranks as normal, but there's a little bit more to it, and there's a little bit more reason now to want to keep your rank high other than just dev raids, because you'll want to get these fresh prizes every week. And dev raids have now actually been removed. If there's not enough raids to populate your opponent list, it will just flip down a rank. So if there's not enough people in Diamond, you'll be raiding against players in Platinum, and so on and so forth. My first impressions here are hugely positive. I love what they're trying to do with the Death Metro, and I love that they're trying to get more people to use it. This is really cool, and I've definitely become more interested in using the system. I'm actually going to set up some defenders now, which I haven't bothered to do before, because I'm really interested in the kinds of stuff you can get from lost bags, which actually have a pretty crucial difference from expeditions, which is you can get materials from lost bags, which you cannot do from expeditions, or at least in the thousands of expeditions that I've done, I have never once seen a material. There are a few people that will claim that you can get materials this way, but take it from me, you cannot. Whereas you can get them from lost bags, all the way up to red metals, which is awesome. Holy shit, somehow there's even more stuff coming which got announced this week. first up, there's these two pieces of armor. Not much really to say about those. The one on the right looks kind of cool. And then there's this image which details everything over the next couple of months. So we've got October, which is the Super Volcano and the TDM Battle Rush and all the stuff that just happened over the last week, so that's happening now. November, we've got the first seasonal event, Creepy Autumn, which sounds like a Halloween event. I'm not 100% sure what that's going to be, but they've said that there will be a bunch of cool quests associated with that, and most likely some new waiting room stuff that you'll be able to look at. And then also in November we've got Black Thunder, the third of the four Forcemen. He looks awesome. He's got some kind of cool fucking lightsaber thing and a Medusa head, which looks like it, I don't know, it's gonna suck your soul out or something. This guy looks really, really cool, and I cannot wait until he's in the game. Then in December, it's the 1-year anniversary of Let It Die, and the World of Tanks collaboration event will be taking place. Then down underneath, we have some more stuff about the TDM Battle Rush stuff, which is happening now, and then an implication that there's going to be more kind of weekly rewards and special seasonal quests. So I think they're going to keep pushing these weekly quests. So yeah, personally I think this is really, really cool, and I'm pretty happy with where they seem to be taking the game, and there seems to be a lot of content coming our way. And this is just for the rest of this year. This doesn't even touch remotely on their plans for 2018, which I'm hoping we're going to see some really cool stuff. The final announcement this week is that the Jackals are going to be upgraded, which is pretty terrifying because I haven't even had a chance to find the original ones yet. So if you're anything like me and you haven't fought these guys yet, try and get on that as soon as possible, because I'd imagine this will be happening sometime early in the new year. Given how much stuff we've had to cover, my progress update for this week is going to be really, really quick. I've been focusing mainly again on upgrading my equipment. I've got the tier 3 nail gun, I now have the cleaver saber, I've upgraded the baseball pitching machine, and I'm going to kind of change tack. Based on what we've seen from these new seasonal quests, I'm going to be trying to climb towards floor 40 and take on the 40th floor boss, so that I can have access to those red metals. And somehow I'm going to try and juggle plans to prepare for the Jackals in there. I did try and take one on this week, but I couldn't actually get it to spawn, so I'm going to need to figure out how that actually works. And I've been trying out a lot of the Death Metro Battle Rush stuff this week, which kind of got in the way of the other things I was trying to do. I made my way up to gold rank before the reset, which was kind of cool, seeing as I'd never left bronze before because I wasn't really interested in raiding. And then after being reset back down to bronze again, I'm now kind of hovering around bronze because for the next couple of days there's too many powerful people in the silver tier. But yeah, my primary goals, at least for the short term, is still in upgrading equipment. I've got Happy Wheeler armor as well to +4, so I'm going to be making good use of that. I need to get a decent headpiece and some lower armor to +4 as well. So yeah, nothing particularly exciting, but I am making good progress. Okay, so I know this was a slightly longer video, but thanks for tuning in, thanks for making it all the way to the end. I really appreciate it. Let me know if you have any feedback. I'm going to keep trying to do these weekly Let It Diary summaries. I suspect next week's one's going to be a little bit shorter because I managed to get my hands on one of these babies, so I'll be taking a look at that. But if you have any feedback or if I missed anything, feel free to leave a comment. If you like the video, hit like. If you feel like subscribing, subscribe, because I will be putting these out every week on a Friday. But yeah, thanks for watching. I hope you're as excited about the future of Let It Die as I am. Take care.